Overwhelming news tonight at 6. The Gordon Drive Viaduct traveled by many. Although it was supposed to be temporary, the reduction of the Gordon Drive Viaduct to just 2 lanes will continue. That's all because of the structure's condition and the structure's weight capacity in its current condition. The Gordon Drive Viaduct won't be replaced until 2028. Crews continue to work on those repairs. It all started back in May after an inspection showed critical issues with the viaduct support beams. The Iowa Department of Transportation says the plan is to have a single lane of traffic in each direction.
We are unable to reinforce it enough to bring it up to the 40-ton, which is a legal load. In addition, to preserve the structure due to the deterioration that we're seeing, and we can only make so many repairs, to preserve the structure until it can be replaced starting in 2028.
There will be a more permanent traffic crossover pattern rather than the current traffic cones, and work on the eastbound lanes and the underside of the structure will start pretty soon. Drivers should anticipate switching to the westbound lanes at a later date.
We recognize that this is a key connection from the east side of town to downtown, but we have to do the maintenance on this as best we can. So we ask folks to just take their time, follow the speed limits, follow the traffic.
Work on a permanent traffic pattern will start after the current construction project is complete.